All right, so our first example in our notes today is about an aquarium. So let's read it together. An aquarium. A public library has an aquarium in the shape of a rectangular prism. So right away, I'm noticing the shape, and I know that it tells you it's a rectangular prism. The base is 6 feet by 2.5 feet. So the base, if I'm looking right here, the base of my aquarium is 6 feet by 2.5 feet. The height is going to be 4 feet. Now, all of this information you can see in the visual. You can also read it. It's given to you. The height is 4 feet. So how many square feet, that's what it's asking for, of glass was used to build this aquarium? So if I'm talking about squared feet, or also I could think of that as feet squared, well, that's telling me I want to know what is the surface area of this aquarium, because I want to know how many square feet of glass was used to build this aquarium. Now, it points out the top of the aquarium is open. So normally when we're finding a rectangular prism, there's 6 faces. However, there is not an actual face up here, right here. There is no actual top. This top is open. Therefore, we'll find the base, 2 sides, the front and the back, but there is no top, so that means that there are only 5 faces. So now the easy part, I want to find what is the base. The base is 2.5 times 6, so 2.5 times 6. And I can think about this as, well, 6 times 2 is 12, plus half of 6 is 3, so 12 plus 3 is 15. So this is 15 feet is my base. And then let's go ahead and we can do both of the sides of glass, both of these sides of glass. So one of the areas of these sides, it's going to be 2.5 by a height is same over here of 4. So now I have 2.5 times 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus half of 4, so 8 plus 2, that is 10. So 4 times 2.5 is 10. And then I have 2 of those, so just be careful that you're accounting for both of your sides. So whether you want to do 10 times 2, or you can just show, okay, there's both of my sides. And then the last one, actually, let's see. Yes, so we have one more face that's on both sides. So I have this front side of the glass, and then the back side of the glass. So this front side of my glass, and then I also have, it will be the same dimensions, but see this back side of the glass? So I want to account for both of those. So that would be 6 feet by 4 feet. So 6 by 4, because it's a rectangle, which is 24, and I know that there's 2 of them, 2 6 by 4s. And then again, I am not counting for this top. I only accounted for the bottom base, not this top base right here, because the top of the aquarium is open. So my last step is I just need to add all of the faces together. 4 plus 4 plus 5, that gets me a total, well, 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 5, or you can think about this as 5 plus 4 is 9. Either way, you'll get 13. 2, 4, 6, 8, 83. So your answer to this question would be 83 feet, and it's feet squared, because we were talking about surface area. About yesterday. This is something that'll be on your test. So you're given a volume. So example number 12 right here, you're given that the volume of what looks sort of like a mattress or a sponge is 532 inches cubed. So that is my total volume. That's the total inside space. And you're given your 3 dimensions. However, one of your dimensions is a variable. It's an unknown. So we know that 1 3/4 times something times 19 will equal a volume of 532. So in order to find this, you work with what you know. Well, I know that the formula for volume is my volume is equal to my length times my width times my height. And now I just plug in what I know. I know that my volume is, in this case, 532. And this will equal, well, we can call this my length. We can call this will be W, my width. It's already in that variable for us. And then 1 1/3, this will be my height. So my length I plug in is 19. times my W, and I'm just going to keep all of my numbers together first. So 19 times my height, which is, so times 1 3/4 times W. So my volume is equal to my length times my width times my height, but I don't know what this width is, so I want to find out what is this width. So the first thing I can do is simplify. I can simplify what is 19 times 1 3/4. Well, I can use improper fractions here and turn 19 into 19 over 1 times 4 times 1 is 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, over 4. 19 times 7 gives me 133 divided by over 4. And so I need to think, is 133 divisible by 4? It's not, but I can simplify these fractions. You know what? We'll just leave it here for now. We'll leave it as 133 over 4. So I kind of want to rewrite now that I've simplified. So 532 is equal to 133 over 4 W. So I want to get W alone. This is where we worked really hard on getting variables alone out of these fractions. So right now W is being multiplied by 133 divided by 4. So I want to think about how can I get rid of this fraction. I can multiply by the reciprocal, which would be the opposite flipped, 4 over 133. But what I do to one side, I must do to the other. So then I'm going to multiply this side by 4 over 133. So these will cancel out, and I'm left with my variable of W. So W will equal, well, let's see, 4 times 532 is, big number, 2128 over, still over, 133. And so then from there I can use division, I can also simplify, but this answer, if I divide 2,128 divided by 133, it leaves me with 16 is equal to W. So your answer to this question would be that this W right here equals 16. And if I just think about, is that reasonable? If this right here is 19, does this look like it would be about 16? Yeah. If this was a number like 1 million, would that make sense? If this was 19 and that was like a million? No, because they're very similar in their size. So let's go ahead and do this one. So same exact thing. I know that something times something times something is going to equal a volume of 220.5 centimeters squared. Now, if this is 7 and this is 7, right now I just want you thinking, do you think that W is 7? So if my volume is 220.5, and if you're suspicious, go ahead and you can try, well, what is 7 times 7 times 7? Well, 7 times 7 times 7 is 343. So this is not a perfect cube. So don't just assume that this is 7. So I'll say that my volume equals length times width times height. So 220.5 equals 7 times W. So I can simplify and say that 7 times 7 is, oops, that should be a 4, is 49 W. So 220.5 is equal to 49 W. I can divide both sides by 49 so that I get W alone. This will cancel out. I'm left with W is equal to, and I can use a calculator, 220.5 divided by 49, and I get 4.5. So 4.5 centimeters is my answer here. So this W is actually equal to 4.5 centimeters, and I didn't add my units. This would be inches over here. Oops.